So I'm gonna put a question out there. Um, Earlier in the week, I made a video and I didn't get it up. It couldn't get up on YouTube or on here because it just took too long and I was having problems with it. But basically, what that video said was it was talking about the Kevin Spacey thing and how there's going to be unintended consequences. That's one of them of the anti-male thing going on, where they're talking about males as sexual predators. Eventually, we're going to have the gay sexual predator thing come out, and a lot of people are going to be exposed in Hollywood, and it's going to be an unintended consequence. So what I was thinking about today is this is something I noticed the way that things are handled. Um, why is it that most people in the world are straight, heterosexual. So most of the world's heterosexual. So then we have everybody's got a norm or value about what age is the age of of sexual maturity that someone can have sex now, which they're trying to change that. But I mean, basically, some people believed back in the old days people got married when they had could menstruate. When girls were old enough to have sex or have children, that was considered sexual maturity. But now we've raised that a little higher. Even though teenagers are having sex, 14, 15, 16 years old are having more sex than the adults do. But regardless, there's such a thing as statutory rape, and there's such a thing as abuse. And when we were talking about the thing with the Hollywood situation, those were grown women. Those were adults. So and they were being taken advantage of. So take out this even that thing. Let's say that somebody's 16 or they've had sex before, and they're being put in a bad position by anyone of any sexual orientation. That's still wrong. If you're 16, 17, and not even 18, and it's still, even take the statutory rape element out of it, you still have abuse of power. So going back to my original point, what I don't understand is most people are heterosexual in the world. Okay, so if a man molests a girl, a heterosexual male molests a female, or rapes a female, or anything like that that's underage, nobody's rushing to defend heterosexuality, saying, "Hey, you can't talk about that because the guy, may make the guy look bad. It may make our cause, So I mean, nobody has the, nobody. Everybody gets what it is. The guy did something inappropriate, and they don't defend. They don't have to defend their preference. They just had, it's like nobody's just saying, "Well, shut up about what this guy did," because but he's heterosexual, and that the issue becomes he's heterosexual, not that the guy did a rape or a statutory rape or messed with someone who's not sexually mature, that or molested a child. That doesn't override the issue. But when it comes to gay things, it's like there's so many times that when there's a gay incident, it's like, well, the guy did something wrong, or there's so many times I've seen that the guy, most of your gay leaders, most of your people who they make movies about, like that Harvey Milk and all those people were having sex and advocates, and most of your leaders in the gay organizations are advocates of underage sex. Even that, what's that guy's name that was running around speaking? It was actually somewhat of a conservative. They were protesting him. He was talking about having sex with underage boys. There's a huge community of gay men that think having sex with underage boys is okay. Matter of fact, nobody really gets that worked up when a female has sex with an underage male. So there's a thing about males that we kind of shove under the rug when it comes to underage sex or molestation. So what I don't understand is why when a gay person does it, them becoming gay becomes the issue, rather than like, well, I'm gay. Okay, well, yeah, you're gay, but you still, how can we? Everybody wants us to separate homosexuality from perversion or homosexuality from underage sex. But how are you expected to separate that when they don't want to separate? Like they want to say, well, I'm gay, so that makes me fucking a 13 or 14-year-old okay. I'm gay. What about it? It's the attitude they have. So, everybody doesn't want to say anything because it's like, well, if you say that, you're actually saying gay people could have problems or they're dysfunctional or they have to go by the same rules as everyone else. And it's like they make it like an anti-gay thing. Like if you get on a gay person's ass for banging a 13-year-old or 12-year-old boy, it's like you're anti-gay. No, it's just there's rules. Being they want to say on one hand being gay is different from being a child molester, but when a gay person molests a child, then we're supposed to sweep it under the rug. And they act like it's one and the same. Like that's part of being gay is banging underage boys. That's the way they make it out to be. But then when someone else says that, if I say, well, gay people do that. Oh, you're a homophobe. So, make up your mind. You can't have it both ways. You can't justify underage sex for a homosexual any more than you can for a heterosexual. And then in one breath and then the other breath try to say, well, you can't say gay people are doing this kind of thing, or some gay people do it. It's like they're so protected that you can't say anything that may be taken negatively or out of context, or even, if they're taken out of context. You can't say anything negative about a homosexual person in this country, because it's like their mafia is so powerful, and their PR is so powerful, and there's so many people in power. And it's not that they're homosexual. This is the thing. There are a lot of homosexual people in power who the problem is not they're homosexual. The problem is they like young boys. There are a lot of people who like young boys who are in positions of power. And this is something that affected many people in my life. And without going in detail, it didn't affect me directly, but it affected someone in my life that that was a big influence on my life. And people in my family were affected by this type of thing. And I can see what it does to people as far as males, being done that way. I have an understanding of it. I think it psychologically damaged somebody without, not to tarnish somebody's memory any more than I have by just telling the truth about certain things, but I think it did some damage to somebody. So anyway, that's my take on it. And I'm saying, if you want to say homosexual person is different than a homosexual child molester. We have to separate that. Like if you're gay, that in an adult, that's your own business. Any kind of sex you have when you're an adult, whether we can argue it's sinful or it's not biblical or not whatever religion that you believe in, or not natural. Not even say maybe you don't believe you're an atheist and you believe it's not scientifically sound to have a homosexual sex. Whatever, regardless of what you believe, it's their business until they violate a child. And it's somebody else's, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. So my point is, why are we trying to make this into one thing? Why is the go-to thing every time a Hollywood person gets caught with an underage boy, the first thing they say is, I'm gay? Like, wait, you're witch hunting and persecuting me, when they know that they have a problem messing with kids. Why does that all of a sudden justify them messing with kids? And like I said, point one more time. If I was to say that, if I was to say, well, a lot of gay guys mess with kids, you can't say that. Not all gay people are like that. People would jump my ass trying to tell me they're separate. Well, they're separate when it's convenient for those things to be separated, but when it's not convenient to separate those things, or when they don't want to, then they don't. When it serves their purpose to absolve them from whatever they've done, is because they're gay, and that's something that may be out of their persecution or their mental illness that they've suffered from the persecution of being a homosexual caused them to fuck underage boys, whatever. And I grew up with somebody like this who was a stalker. I grew up with a guy that calls me. One of the reasons that I don't even go to church anymore, I quit going to church when I was younger, was because of something that happened, that I saw, that I was blasted. Somebody tried to ruin my reputation because of what I saw happen. And this guy is still to this day, you can go on his Facebook, he's still to this day is stalking young boys. He's going overseas to stalk young boys, and nobody does a fucking thing about it because his family had money. So there are a lot of bad people in this world that stalk boys, and I've seen it and I grew up with it. So anyway, that's my thing, and there may be another way to think about it. And like I said, I don't give a damn if somebody's gay. That's their own business. It's no different than any other sexual immorality, if you want to call it immoral. It's no different than having multiple sex partners, doing gangbangs, cheating on your husband or wife, whatever. Living with somebody you're not married to. If you don't go into the biblical thing, it's all the same to me. If you want to be biblical, if you're living with somebody you're not married to and you're having sex, you're no different than homosexual. So don't get on the fucking church bandwagon. You got no leg to stand on there. So anyway, that's my thing. You guys have a great day.